Testing. There we go.
That and they'd rather be embarrassed in private.
And now, another exciting episode of As the River Churns.
We're live? All right. Woo! And we have a studio audience today.
We do. This is our biggest audience ever. I know that's sad to say because there's only 15 of you, but it is our biggest audience.
You're being generous. There's not even 15 here.
Well, that's including us.
Oh, okay. That's all right then, including us.
We might be at 15 then.
I told them we were giving away a prize. I hope I didn't misspeak. I hope you didn't either.
I think you did, Ken.
Yeah,
unless you have the prize with you.
We'll see. We'll see, right? We'll see. So, all right. Let's see. It's been 2 weeks since the last time we've had the show.
Yep.
So, Ken, it's nice to have you back.
Yes.
Good to be back. You were well filled in by Wiz and Jim last time, so they did a great job.
They did a great job.
About the scholarship program. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But
Did you have a good vacation?
wonderful.
Good.
Wonderful.
We're glad you're back.
Went whitewater rafting through the Grand Canyon of the East, which I didn't know existed.
Oh.
Oh, that could be a trivia question.
Oh.
Where is the Grand Canyon of the East?
In the East.
Yeah. Okay. Here.
You're the winner. Oh.
Yeah. Well, be curious. Are you going to tell us, or are we going to really use that as a trivia question?
I'm going to really use it as a trivia question.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So
Next time.
Next time? Oh, we're not going to give out a special bottle of wine from Ken that we could.
Well, we could.
We could.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll save mine for another time.
All right.
Yeah.
No, it's not West Virginia. But I do have a bottle of water that I'm going to, of course, turn into wine. That would be appropriate for the chaplain. Yeah.
Okay, so let's use your question here. If you know the answer to this, and say the question again.
Okay, so where is the Grand Canyon of the East located?
If you know that answer, call Michelle at 336-389-4103.
She doesn't know the answer.
She does.
I'll text it to you.
Do you know what it is? Oh. All right, so Ken will text it to you.
Ken,
I'll text. I don't know.
you
her.
text. Here.
It was 336. Oh, no, that's not the same number. That's right. Somebody's already called you. Well, answer it and
Just give him a second
get the
here.
answer.
Ken is texting it to you right now.
See, Michelle can't go, with her foot the way it is, she can't go out of the multipurpose
She
room.
can't.
No, I know. She's rafting, that's what it is. That's good point. She's rafting. Okay, so while Ken's doing that, let's jump in. Honestly, I think we all have probably been watching, and nobody wants to talk about this, but we're seeing the percentage of positive rates go up again on COVID. Fortunately, Guilford County has been one of the counties that has been slower in regards to going up in percentage, but one of our sister communities that's in Laurinburg, Scotland County is actually at 9.7% this week, positivity rate. So So they've gone up. They have I think what we're seeing when you start looking at the counties and the positivity rate, some of the counties that have a really low vaccination rate are the ones that seem to be getting hit the hardest. And I guess that's not surprising because everything I'm reading is that 94% of the new cases that are coming out are from unvaccinated people at this point. So, obviously that provides some comfort for us here in that, with the majority of us being vaccinated here, that does provide us some protection against this Delta variant. But, it's not 100%. As a matter of fact, I was on a phone call today. One of our sister communities has a staff member who is positive for COVID, who is fully vaccinated. Now, the good thing, again, I think, and this is what we know, the person is symptomatic, but there's not a real, they're not very symptomatic, I guess is the way to say that. So, this is what we want from our vaccine, right? We want to know that even if we do get COVID coming around, that it's not going to be that, it's going to hopefully keep us out of the hospital, and more importantly, keep us from dying, right? I mean, that's the main thing. So, we just got to keep the message out there, trying to, with the Delta variant, we know it's more contagious than what the first round of COVID was when it went through. So we just got to, we're monitoring it, to be honest with you. I had a couple of residents have asked me, we're going to have to go back to masks, or we're going to have to do this, we're going to have to do that. And the answer right now is, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. If the percentage gets really high in the county here, we might have to fall back a little bit. I really don't want to fall back, but if we do, we do. And so we'll just have to see. But as of right now, we haven't made any firm decisions about having to fall back at this point. We're going to keep going with what we've got, and we're going to hope and pray that our percentage is going to stay low. So that's the way it is right now. If it continues to go higher, we'll see. And, we don't know. I mean, because we know that the state positivity rate went up as well. When we were talking to you all 2 weeks ago, the daily percent positive for the state was at 5.5%. And today I pulled it up and it's 10.8%. So it's, the state rate is rising as well. We've got twice as many people in the hospital than what we had last time, 2 weeks ago. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with this. And if we have to get preventative again, then we'll do that. But, I think when I talk to most people, everybody wants to be cautious, but they also don't want to jump too fast if we don't have to. So we'll see how that goes. But it's a little alarming. We obviously don't want our rates to go up. We've got, and I've said this before, we've got 98% of our residents that are vaccinated. We've got 2/3 of our staff that are vaccinated at this point. Our little bubble here is pretty good. When you look at it combined, when you add the residents and staff together, we're at like 88% vaccinated here. So, that in itself will provide a lot of protection for us. But, we're just going to have to monitor and see. And it's a different ballgame. Again, this is, when this happened a year ago or so, or a year and a half ago, we didn't have any defense against it. And so we had to go to extreme measures to keep it out. It's different this time, because we know vaccinated residents and staff have some protection because of the vaccinations that we got. So we're going to keep working on that and keep looking at that. And, if the positivity rate goes up, we'll have to do more testing. I could see potentially that we'd have to go back to masks at some point. I don't want to say it, but, we might have to limit visitation again. We'll just have to see how that goes. I really don't want to go there, but if it gets bad in Guilford County, we may have to be forced to do that. So we'll let you all know, try and give you as much notice if we feel like we have to go that way. We even watch, corporately we watch the CDC, we're watching CMS, and of course North Carolina State, all three of them. The state of North Carolina, I should say, not North Carolina State. The state of North Carolina, we just really, that's who we monitor to see, what they're doing, what they're recommending, and then the governor, I keep hearing threats that the governor is going to take us back a step, and I haven't seen that yet, but, we'll see.
But it could happen.
Yeah, I know I think he talked last week, and it was more about the school children, I think, than anything else. So we'll just see. At this point, we're gonna keep monitoring that. Okay, I think that's it as far as
Okay.
the coronavirus goes. And I hate the fact that we even have to talk about it again.
I know. We were hoping we were past that.
I was
but-
hoping that we were going to get through this and not have to, you know, if you want to be on the positive side of things, the state is almost 60% fully vaccinated. Adults and children over the age of 12 are 60%, I think it is right now. So what I like about that it means that there's only 40% of the population that isn't vaccinated. So we're not looking at the 100% of the population that really are in line to be able to get it, I guess,
Sure.
or will easily get it. So, I don't know, you can take a positive spin on this. I'm trying to do a positive spin on this, and, when you talk about the coronavirus, you just can't put a positive spin on it. The sad part is there's just people out there that it's a little frustrating. There are people out there that are not getting vaccinated, that can get vaccinated, and I worry. I mean, I believe in the right to choose, but I worry for them because, if they get it and they have any kind of underlying medical conditions, they could be putting themselves in danger. And I don't know why you would do that when there's something out there that we know that can help you with that. But
What is the rate of people being hospitalized? It's like 97% are unvaccinated.
yeah, it is. I mean, I actually think it's almost 100%. So 97 is close enough, right? But yeah, I get it that there's two sides to this, and there are people that are just won't do this for various reasons. But it seems hard for me to just know that there's something out there that could protect them, and I worry. It's more me of worrying about them, because we have staff members and we have a few residents, but it's mostly staff members that are unvaccinated at this point. That third of our staff that are not vaccinated, and I just worry about them getting it, and worried about what that could mean for them. And so anyway, I've talked long enough about that. Let's move on. So where are we going next? So we had said this was going to be like our semi-annual meeting, right?
Yes, so let's jump into that.
So let's jump into
Yeah.
some of that stuff. Let's see. I think, Lisa, I know you've got it on here in order. I'm going to do it differently than what you
Yep,
said.
that's fine.
So,
Is this where you declare a dividend?
yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Dividend.
You're not getting a lot of reaction
Oh,
from
okay.
the applicant. You're going to have to work on your material, I think, So. Okay, so let's talk about how we're doing as a community. One of the things I always like to start off with when we're doing these semi-annual meetings is to talk a little bit about our occupancy. I think residents have a real interest in knowing what our occupancy is. And not surprising, I think most of our residents probably guess this if they don't know it already, is that on the independent living side, we're doing very well. We're 97.2% occupied at the moment. We have 344 occupied homes out of a possibility of 354 homes that are possible to occupy right now. So that's 10 that are in transition. We know that all 10 of those have names associated with them, and it's just a matter of them being transferred and fixed up for the next person to be able to come in. As of today, we have 617 total residents living at River Landing. That's healthcare, independent living, everybody. And out of that 617 residents, 186 couples, 186. So, matter of fact, if you add up the couples at Glen Eyre and Scotia together, they still only come out to about 2/3 of what our number is here as far as couples. We have a lot of couples here, which I think is great. We have, this is, I think, interesting for folks too. We have 452 households on our resident of the future list. 452. So that's not individuals, that could be couples as well. And so actually when you look at the numbers, when you take into account that they're couples, it's over 700 people that are on our wait list.
And they're moving into those 10 units, is
They
that
are,
correct? Okay.
yes. We changed our licensing and we're doing multi-unit housing now. So yeah, no, that would be a fun little thing to do, wouldn't it? So everybody gets to bed for 10 minutes, right? So get a 10-minute nap before you go to, that would be interesting. That would be kind of interesting. So, obviously we're doing very well, and that's a big thank you to our residents because, the biggest referral source that we have here as a community is residents. And so we appreciate everybody in this room. I appreciate everybody that's watching on TV for that. Because if it wasn't for you all, we wouldn't have this many people looking to get into river landing. So it's kind of neat. The place kind of sells itself a little bit, and our residents are great ambassadors for us, and so we appreciate that. On the healthcare center side, so let me tell you a little bit about the occupancy there. So in Muirfield, we have 35 residents in Muirfield. Remember, we have 40 rooms total in Muirfield. So that's our assisted living. And so that number has come up. We were pretty low coming out of the first phase of COVID. Right. We were pretty low in all of our healthcare census for obvious reasons. So we're 35 out of 40 there. We have 14 out of 16 possible in St. Andrews, which is our memory care area. And then this is where you'll see the numbers lower. In Wingfoot at the moment, we have 11 of the 16 are occupied. And in Pebble Beach, we're 35 out of 44. So we've got quite a bit of vacancy on the Pebble Beach side of things. And so, that presents some challenges financially because we usually budget to be 95% occupied in our healthcare center, just like we budget 95% on the independent living side. So, we're down in our census, so that means we're down in our revenues on the nursing side of our operation. But the fact that we're over budget in the independent living side actually is helping us to overcome some of that. So that's a nice segue into the financials. So you all may or may not remember, most of you I know most of the people in the crowd have been here for several years, so you all might remember this, but our fiscal year runs from October 1st to September 30th. And so I have the financials through May. The June financials, hopefully going to have next week, but I don't have them yet. But through May, which is 8 months of our fiscal year, for River Landing, we are above budget on our revenue side by about $700,000. And the reason we're above budget by about $700,000 is because we received stimulus funds in the amount of about $700,000 from the government. And so that obviously has helped us a lot.
It's stimulating.
It's very stimulating, yes. And on the expense side, we are a little bit better than budget. We're about $800,000 better than budget as far as what we spent. But don't let that mislead you. We do very good cost control here, but we save a lot for the expenses that we like to expend. We kind of wait until we get to that June, July, August, September timeframe. We like to wait to the end of the fiscal year to make sure we're having a decent year for some of the items that we kind of hold off on that. So that number will come down a little bit. But when you take in the fact that we've gotten the stimulus funds, we're actually having a pretty good year compared to what we budgeted to be at. So that's good. One of the strongest points financially about our community is the amount of cash and investments we have here. Actually, through May 31st, we have about $76 million in operational cash and investments, which is great. Got another almost $8 million in cash and investments in our foundation. But here's why that's good to have that money, because then we look at the outstanding debt that we have as a community, and the good news is we just broke under $100 million again for the second time. We're at $99,208,000 of outstanding debt. It used to be that used to scare me the Jesus out of me a little bit, to be honest with you. And now I've kind of gotten used to the fact that we just we have a big community. We're going to carry debt, and that's just the way it is. And we keep paying down on that debt until we need to add something else on. So, but again, the other good thing that I like is that Glen-Eyre is, I think most of you know, Glen-Eyre is adding on. They're going to be almost doubling the size of their independent living operation. So they're going to be borrowing almost $200 million there. So we're going to look small in comparison to Glen-Eyre here before long. And so the attention will come off of us a little bit and go on them. And I'm very happy about that. I'll be very happy to have the attention come off of us a little bit. So, And then, there are some other bond covenants that we watch and look for as far as borrowing funds. They have what they call a debt service coverage ratio. And so we, as an obligated group, meaning River Landing, Scotia Village, and Glen Eyre added together, we have to maintain this 1.2 ratio by the end of each fiscal year. So up to this point, because of River Landing's debt load, if River Landing was at a 1.2, we were golden because the rest of the communities didn't have that kind of debt load, and so we always were way above it. But River Landing's right now at a 2.61, even with that much debt load that we have. So we're doing very well. Obviously, that's way above the 1.2. So with the other two communities, Glen Eyre is starting to ramp up, so that'll probably change the overall for Presbyterian Homes. But I'll talk about that in a minute. So, but right now we're looking really good from a bond covenant standpoint. So we're well above the 1.2 as a community. We're well above the 1.2 as an organization. Days cash on hand, that's another bond covenant. We're supposed to be at 120 days required. River Landing, I told you how much cash we have, right? Cash and investments. So we're at 1,098 here. So I wish Tim Webster was here today because I always say something that he doesn't like, which is always my favorite thing to say.
And you're going to say it, aren't you?
I'm going to say it because I think the residents always like to hear it, right? He told me this last time, he said, I don't like the way you say this. And I say, we have enough cash at this point that if residents don't pay us another dime as part of their monthly service fees, we could survive for about 3 years. And he doesn't like the way that sounds.
He doesn't want to give anybody any ideas.
He doesn't want to give anybody any ideas, right? And I just think it's pretty cool. I mean, I think that's just the way it is, right? I look at it as a really big positive for our residents and for our community that we are financially sound. Here we are, just went through a really rough time with COVID, right? Financially, we did take a hit, except for the stimulus funds. We did take a hit financially, and yet we're still very strong as an organization. I'll quote Tim by saying, our organization is kind of built for things like COVID because we are financially strong. And so that's a really good thing. Another thing that's looked at also is our charity care. We are required to give 5% of our total revenue towards charity care. Well, what's charity care? Well, it's things like when we have a resident who's in our healthcare center who's receiving Medicaid, what we get from Medicaid reimbursed versus what our fee is or what our cost is.
Big difference.
It's a big difference. And so they call that the Medicaid gap. And so that amount is considered charity care. We have residents that you all know that know of it. You don't know who they are, but we have residents that have outlived their assets at this point. And through no fault of their own, they can't pay the full cost of their care. So that difference between what they can pay and what it costs to live here is also part of that charity care. And then it's things like when we allow nonprofit organizations to come in and use this multi-purpose room or come in and have a meal or whatever, we can count all of that towards our charity care. And the idea there is to get to the 5%. So we as a community are only at this point 3.64%. As an organization, we're 4.15. So this is something our corporate folks are looking at all the time, and they've been trying to find some ways for us to up our charity care. So we'll kind of see how that works out. But our controller has always said, if we can get to 4.5%, she can round it up to 5%. So we'll see about that.
And I would like to say thank you, Tom, for helping me be part of the charity care of River Landing. You've told me that I am, and so I want to thank everybody.
I said you were a charity case. I didn't say you were part of the charity care.
Okay.
That's there's an extra little
sorry.
letter. Yeah, that's okay. And then, not to bore you all, but that was all for River Landing. So in comparison to that, I also have the financials for how we're doing as an organization, again, as of May 31st. So revenue standpoint, we are $925,000 to the good compared to what we budget for, but that includes $1.6 million worth of the stimulus funds. So if it wasn't for the stimulus funds, we would not be having a very good year organizationally. And then from an expense standpoint, we are $543,000 to the good as the organization, which again, I think the funny part is we here are about $800,000 to the good. So we make up most of that $500,000, or all of it if you want to look at it that way. So, it's been an interesting year because of COVID. Cash and investments and operations, so I'll show you just kind of do some quick comparisons for you. So cash and investments operations for the organization, we're at about $113 million. $76 million of that is River Landing's cash and investments. Cash and investments for the foundation is about $52 million. $7.8 million of that is from River Landing. But I will add on that there's a significant portion of that $52 million that was designated towards the Presbyterian Home of High Point when it was in existence. And so that money is obviously not going to be allocated to Presbyterian Home of High Point because there is no Presbyterian Home of High Point anymore. So, the way Tom Smith looks at this is the residents from the Presbyterian Home of High Point came to River Landing. So to me, that's River Landing money. But, and it's really is earmarked more for us than anything else. But that's good. I mean, that's obviously a good thing to be able to have those funds in there as well. Let's see. Like I already told you, from a charity care standpoint, we're at 4.15%. Our debt service coverage ratio as an organization, remember we need to be at a 1.2. As an organization, we're 3.03. So we're doing great on that particular coverage. Days cash on hand, remember we need to be at 120 days as an organization. We are 689 as an organization. River Landing, remember, was 1,098. And, so remember, this is combined. When you look at the organizationally, it's Scotia, Glen Eyre, River Landing, and the corporate office combined in these numbers. So I think that gives you a pretty good idea from a census standpoint and from a financial standpoint, kind of where we are. Things could certainly be a lot worse than what they are. I don't know where you've got this on. Oh, you've got it next anyway. So let me talk a couple seconds about, we're already in the process of working on our budget for next year. Next year's budget is going to be very interesting. I've made no bones about the fact that we're having trouble getting staff. We're having trouble staying competitive in the market right now. We've had to adjust some of our wages now just to get people. This isn't just the organization. This isn't just for River Landing. This is organizationally. We are looking at a huge increase in potential wages for our staff next year just to stay competitive and to keep staff here. We're trying to figure out ways to be able to do that from a budgetary standpoint for next year. I'm excited about the fact that we're going to be able to get this cash influx and that we're going to be able to use these funds for salary and wages, but it's going to come at a cost. And so, the hard part for me, and I'll just tell you this, just to give you kind of a little bit of a feel for what we're dealing with. Last year at this time, when we were working on budget, we were very excited because we were going to bring all the River Landing staff members up. The minimum wage we were going to pay, we were going to go from $10 to $11.50. Well, you might ask, well, how did you get to $11.50? Well, they have this thing that they call living wage calculation they do for each of the counties. And you can look it up on the internet if you want to. It's called living wage. And for Guilford County last year, when we were doing this, the living wage was $11.38. And so we thought, okay, this is great. We're going to be able to help our staff. We're going to get up to $11.50 as a starting wage. And it was well received by our staff when we put it into place.
And it helped us with hiring. I mean, all that made us
just
much
great,
more competitive.
Right? It just was really, it was just a great thing. So as comparison, I looked at the living wage for Guilford County just recently. It went from $11.38 to $14.28. It's gone up $3 in the last year. And so there's a lot of wage pressure, trying to see, is there a way we can, there's not a way for us to get all the way up to $14.28 this year. It's just a huge impact. So we had to take all this into account when we were looking at budget and how we're going to do this. Some positions are harder to get than other ones, and so we have to make those changes to be able to kind of stay competitive. The nursing side of the operation is just, it's a free-for-all. It's a free-for-all right now. the hospitals, the VA, everybody is raising their rates up, and we are doing our best to stay competitive. I don't want to scare anybody. We still got plenty of staff. We're still staffing normal levels, but it's just not as easy to get staff as it used to be. So, but some positives are we started our new CNA class, which I'm really excited about. We went back to doing CNA classes. So we've got our first 7 or 8 people that are taking that class. They started last week, I think it was, or the week before, I can't remember, last week.
Yep, last week.
So I think it's an 8-week class, something like that. So hopefully we'll have some folks that we can pull out of that and start putting them into our operation. And we're going to have a class, and then we're going to have a nice little graduation. We'll invite you all to come, and then we're going to do another class. We're going to have another graduation and invite you to come, and hopefully just cherry pick the best folks out of that and bring them onto our team here. The scholarship program, which we just did, which we just had, we have a lot of folks that are going from CNA to LPNs or LPNs to RNs. The scholarships help y'all. Thank you so much for doing that, because that does make a big difference when they get monies from us, meaning collectively here, to be able to further their education. There's a sense of loyalty then to us, and that's always good for us here as a community. And we're trying to improve our tuition assistance to go along with the scholarship program that we have here. So, we're kind of pulling out all the stops. We're offering referral bonuses for staff members that are already here that will bring in members or new staff members into the community. So, we're trying to do a bunch of different things to kind of keep the flow of staff coming. So, it was about a month ago, we were kind of critical on our staff. We were short a lot of positions. We have filled a lot since then, so I feel much better about that. But still, this is going to be a constant battle. And I don't want to get political about this, but I can tell you that as long as we keep paying as much as we're paying for unemployment right now, we cannot get people out of their homes. They get paid more money to be able to stay at home than they do to come to work. And it's taken the labor pool that used to be this, and it's made it this. And so it's really hard because everybody's competing for the same people. And then that's not counting FedEx and Amazon, who are killing us with paying $16, $17 an hour to start with no experience. It's a killer. So it's very interesting times. Very interesting time. We're very fortunate here, though, and I feel like we're very blessed because we got a nucleus of a team that's been with us a long time, and these are the folks that are staying with us through thick and thin. And we're doing our best to try and supplement them with people that are willing to kind of stay and be a part of the family here. So all that also to say is, please continue to treat our staff members well, because we don't want to lose staff members. And you all do a great job of making them feel like they're part of the family. And so thank you for doing that. It really helps with keeping staff. And we do have the lowest amount of turnover out of all the communities here at River Landing, and I'm very proud of that, that we have a lower turnover rate than one of our sister communities is at 50% right now. They're 50% turnover. So it's on right now. It's a constant battle.
But what we do continue to hear is it's because of you all, our
It
residents.
is, yes.
That's the comments we get, because we put out surveys to our new folks to find out how they're doing, and that's the continuing thing we hear is it's because of the relationships we're building with the residents. So that's what keeps them here. So thank you all for that.
Absolutely. It's the environment that we have that keeps them here. And so, again, we're trying to do our best to make sure we keep the place staffed. We want to keep things going the way we have.
With good people.
This is part of the reason why we've been a little slow in allowing some of the things to happen here. Quite honestly, this is part of the reason we were slowing and allowing residents to be able to have guests come in and eat, because we have just been trying to build up our team so that we have enough people to be able to make sure we can do that right when you start having family members come out next week. So I think we're there. We think we can do that. We're limiting it to 2, but that's just to try and get things going and to make sure that we can cover everything that we need to cover. Worst thing that can happen is you all bring 10 people in, and we have 4 or 5 residents that bring 10 people in, and we just can't serve you well. And that's going to go over like a lead balloon. So we need to control that at first, get our feet underneath of us, and then we can kind of move forward from there. So yeah, there's a lot going on with operations right now. There's a lot of pressures, a lot to be thinking about. But you know what, still, from a positive standpoint, a lot to be thankful for. We got a great family here. We got a great community here. We got a lot of people that are waiting to get in, and we are, a positive, I think, is we're replacing now a leadership position here at River Landing. Our director of human resources actually got an opportunity to leave us and go into something that she's really wanted to do for a long, long time. And so we were wondering if we were going to get a lot of resumes for her position, and lo and behold, we got 50 resumes for that particular position, and we got some really great candidates, and so we've been starting to go through that. So I'm feeling really positive about that, because that's a huge role for us, obviously, as human resources director, now with what we're kind of faced with and what we're doing. So I there's a lot of reasons to be positive. I don't want to scare anybody, but it's also wouldn't be right if I didn't tell you what some of the the challenges are. And staffing, in my opinion, right now, staffing is the hugest challenge that we've ever had since I've been here. Days are gone. Just as a remembrance, I'll share this real quick. When I started here in October of 2002, we decided that we were going to have a job fair, a 3-day job fair. Joe will remember this. He was here then. We were going to have a 3-day job fair here at River Landing, and we were trying to get the community open, because it was going to be end of January was when we knew we were going to open up the community. We were trying to fill about 75 positions here. And we're like, are we going to get 75 people coming to our job fair? We're not exactly on the bus route here, right? So weren't sure what we're going to get. And so we had this job fair, and we put it out in all the newspapers and everything. And we had 862 people come through our door in those 2 days. And it was really funny. I'll tell you this quick little funny story. So I'm standing in this room, very room, and a TV station came in and said, hey, can we interview you? We know you're doing this job fair. And they're seeing people all over the place filling out, applications. And we interviewed each and every of those 862. We interviewed every single one of them. We took at least 10 minutes with every single person to be able to talk to them, because we just wanted to make sure that they felt like it was worth their while to come and visit us. And so I remember they were setting up the camera, and I was pointing towards where you all are sitting here now. They were pointing towards there. And I turned around and said, if any of you don't want your current employers to see you on TV filling out an application, you might want to move over into the dining room. Well, half the group got up and walked over into the other dining room. So it was really kind of funny in a way. But yeah, I don't think we'd get 862 coming to a job fair these days.
No, one of the last job fairs we had, which was about a year and a half ago, I think we got 50 or less. So I mean, it's amazing how times change.
It has.
Yeah.
And it sounds like I'm belaboring this. I just want to give you all a good feel for what's going on. So we'll put out an ad for a position. We'll get 10 people that'll respond to it. When we call them to try and set up an interview, we maybe, if we're lucky, we get a hold of 6 of them to actually talk to us. We'll get offered all 6 of them to come in and interview with us. 4 will say yes. 3 will show up for the interview. We'll hire the 3. We get 1 or 2 that come to orientation, and then if we're lucky, we keep that person after orientation. This is the workforce that's out there right now. It is real, and I'm not trying to make it sound like it's terrible, but it's really hard.
It's harder, yeah.
It's hard.
And passing the drug screens and things like that. And the hard one is the marijuana. I mean, that's the hard one that we find in getting people. So it's, we put people through the background checks because we need to.
We absolutely do.
Yeah.
We're protecting our residents.
Absolutely.
And we will continue to
so
do
we
that.
can catch things. Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to give you all flavor for what's kind of going on. So like I said, we've been very fortunate. We got a great nucleus of a team. We are probably 90 to 95% filled in all of our positions and all of our departments. So we're doing fine. But, we're always going to end up having 30, 35, 40 positions in the community that we need to fill. And right now we're at 403 staff members that are working here right now. So you might be interested to know that. And that's part of the reason, we were at 360 to 370 for a long time. That was about normal for us. And so you might ask, well, how is it you've got so many more staff members now? And the reason for that is we have taken over the security and transportation for Friends Homes. So we are now running security and transportation for Friends Homes. Homer's got a much bigger job now. He doesn't manage just the security and transportation here. We're running it over there. Arnie, who is the CEO at Friends Homes, worked for us for 10 years here in Lisa's role before Lisa was in that role. And so he knew what we were trying to do over here, and he liked the fact that we were having the EMTs on each of the shifts so that when we have emergencies, we can respond to it. So we've basically contracted with Friends Homes for us to be able to provide that for them. And so we've got a whole nother staff that are technically River Landing employees, but they work at Friends Homes, if that makes any sense. And so Homer's running that whole operation, which is what we want. We want Homer running that because he does a really good job with that. So, okay, I've bored them to death with all this stuff. I think we can move on from here at this point.
Okay.
I think it's interesting to know. It's interesting to me. I was hoping it'd be somewhat interesting to all of you. So.
Renovation updates.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit lighter.
That was the
topic.
meeting I was just running from.
Yes, yep.
I've got to change that meeting. 2:30 on a Wednesday is not the best time to be doing
no.
the meeting. I'm talking about the balconies. So I was like, I walked into the meeting today and I sat down and I said, where is my steel? Where is my steel? Because we were supposed to have the steel weeks ago, right? And I knew some of the issues that were going on that was delaying it, but what I was told today is that the steel not only is here in Greensboro, but they're almost done fabricating it, and that Monday morning the steel from the balconies will start rolling in. So I'm expecting the steel to come running in. So we might need to look at what our activities are here in the multipurpose room next week, because this is probably going to be, they're going to get the steel and they're going to set it right away. So they're going to be, if the steel really does come in Monday, they're going to be setting it on Monday. So they're going to do one side first, the beginning of the week next week, and then they're going to go to the other side and they're going to set the steel. Hopefully they're going to have the steel done within a 7 to 8 day period of time. So we'll have all the steel set. And the steel is, to me, that's been the big holdup at this point. So it's just been really hard to be able to get it. There's a lot of companies that are fighting for the steel that's out there, but we've got it. It's being almost on fabrication, and we should have it on Monday. So I've been told that story before, so we'll see. I told them today I'll see it when I'll believe it when I see it. So,
right.
But I'm hoping against hope that we'll get that and get started. And our date got moved back. I was trying to give them some extra time. I've been telling you all that I thought by Thanksgiving we would be done. Well, I'm glad I did that now, because what I didn't tell you was they originally started out they were going to have it done at the beginning of October. Well, guess what? It's slipped all the way till Thanksgiving now at this point. So I'm kind of glad I've been saying Thanksgiving, because that's what ended up happening, right? And it seems like it happens that way. But yes, so the balconies hopefully will get started. You might notice that the parking lot is moving along really nicely again. I really do think they're going to actually be doing some asphalt there in the next week and a half. So we're hopefully going to have that done in the next couple weeks. Scooters buildings, the part of the steel package is coming in a little early. Go figure. So they're actually going to have that coming in Wednesday next week. So they'll start erecting the framing part of the steel for that. They're not going to get the rest of it until mid-August, but we'll get started on that at least. And then Glen Eagles, you can update us on, because you were at that meeting
today with
that was that meeting today.
Designers for Glen Eagles, and I hate to say this, but they're saying we're going to start next week. So next week's a big week here.
Yes.
So Glen Eagles folks, I will be sending out a notice to you all to let you know where they're actually starting next week. But it will be lighting and paint. That's the biggest things that they have to get going on first.
Yeah.
So, and that'll take place over several weeks.
Yeah, and we know the Glen Eagles project will be stretched out over several months.
A couple months yet. Yep.
So, the nice thing is I've been saying all along, I think we're going to have them all done before Thanksgiving, and I still think we're going to have them all done before Thanksgiving. It's just the time frame's gotten a little closer for me for the balconies. So.
Yep. And also the golf cart paths and some of our walking paths.
Yes.
We're going to start redoing those switching from the asphalt to the concrete.
To the concrete, So we'll be working on that towards the end of August. I think we're going to start. And that'll be an ongoing thing until we get done, which will probably take us into early November is my guess.
Sure.
They're saying when they actually get into the golf course side of things, they're saying they think it would take about a week for each hole. So we got 9 holes. So it's 9 weeks, I would think, to do the golf course. And that's assuming good weather or decent weather. So, But I think it'll be great. You know, the asphalt, for anybody that's been on the golf course, the asphalt is really, it was the original asphalt, it's what Scooter's telling me. So it's held up fairly well, but it's time to change it. And I think the concrete cart paths will be really super.
And it's
We've
also
done
the
some-
walking path here around the back pond, so that,
Exactly. Anything that we have, almost anywhere that we have cart paths that are asphalt, we're gonna probably change to concrete. I think even the path that goes along the back of the property up to Pleasant Village, I think that's gonna get changed out to concrete as well. So,
that'll be a nice enhancement.
yeah, I think it's gonna be great.
Okay, some other events and updates for the rest of the year, since this is our semi-annual meeting.
Yes.
So July, this month, the scholarship ceremony, I think it's worth talking about that a little bit. It was, I thought, one of our best, very touching ceremony, and thank you to the scholarship committee. That committee's been great to work with, and Wiz was a super MC, like
he-
always.
He does a great job with that.
Yes.
He didn't give me a hard time this time. Usually he tries
He
to find a
didn't.
way to make fun of me somehow, some way during that thing.
You're
He didn't do
right.
that.
He
I was a little
left you
disappointed.
alone.
He didn't do that this time, so. But I know, I'm looking out in the audience, and I know several of you all were here for that, and it was just a really good feel-good event. And when you hear a staff member say that they're the first of their family to have graduated high school and the first one to be going to college, it just,
Right.
I don't know, there's just something about that.
amazing.
Kind of,
Yeah.
just very
A
emotional.
lot of that we just take for granted. So it's just amazing to hear some of the stories of how they're pursuing their dreams.
And I think the next show we have, we're going to try and bring one or two of the scholarship recipients on to just talk a little bit about.
Just to talk a little more.
Yeah, so we'll have to pick a couple good ones that like to talk.
Yep.
A lot of them were
I
nervous.
think we have some.
A lot of them were nervous. We got a couple, I think, that are
We have
on
a
there
couple
that-
talkers.
Yeah, we got a couple, I think. So.
Oh. And if you did miss the ceremony, it is on CareMerge now, so you can click on the video tab on the side, and you can view that.
It was a really good ceremony. I would highly suggest you watch it.
And we actually have some good pictures, Tom, if we can take a moment.
We're gonna flash them
Michelle,
up.
if you could go ahead and show some pictures to our, okay, yep, take your time. She's going to get it ready here to be able to show out to our TV land and folks here in the audience.
Matter of fact, we still have the congratulations
We
sign
do.
up.
Oh,
Oh, here we go. So,
okay, so if you look to the screens here.
Yeah. It was 13 staff members that actually received scholarships. And then we also recognized 4 staff members who are getting tuition assistance through River Landing. And even though they weren't getting scholarships through River Landing, we just felt like we needed to recognize them. The committee wanted to recognize them as well because they're furthering their education just like the folks that are getting scholarships. So, and that was a picture of the Fisher
had a
family,
great-
Charles and Alice Fisher's sons, Matt and Charlie.
You could see we had a great turnout that day.
It was a really good program. Marisa was part of the program that we had. Marisa's our Director of Development for Presbyterian Homes. So it's very good.
And I think these pictures were courtesy of Mr. Guthrie, Michelle, is that right?
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
so thank you for doing that.
So, okay, just to
And
give
also
you a little flavor
Mr.
for
Shields
that.
was taking pictures as well, so thank you for that.
So we appreciate that. And you said it already, Lisa, but the committee's a great committee.
Oh,
They do a
amazing,
great job.
yep. And thank you all for donating to that program, so that's great. Okay, also in July, repainting on the roads for the crosswalks. I hope a lot of you have seen that. I think that will be a big help.
Yeah,
We've had a lot of positive comments on
not
that.
quite done yet. I know that one area still we got left to do from a crosswalk standpoint. But yeah, I think the hope there is to be able to slow traffic down and make people that are coming in and out of the campus more aware of the fact that we have people that are walking throughout the campus. And
Yep.
so I think the crosswalks and the identification of that.
Of the stop sign too. that-
Yeah, I didn't think we'd ever have to put the word stop in front of the line for stop signs, but you know, it helps.
If
I
it
think,
helps,
to remind
right,
people that
yep.
you're
that
supposed to
it's-
stop at a stop sign.
It's the large print edition.
Yes.
It is.
It is the large
It
print
is.
edition. You ought to be able to see it. And may I just add, that doesn't just go for cars.
Right.
That is
right.
golf carts as well. Golf carts need to stop at the stop sign.
Yes, yes.
I see a lot of residents in golf carts and staff too, in fairness. And when I see the staff members, I really go jump on them.
Right.
But the residents as well, that just, they blow through the stop signs with the golf carts. And
Yep.
please stop.
Okay, in August, so August 2nd, we have a lot of things starting. You may invite guests to dine with you. That's, like Tom said before, it's a limit of 2 at this point, so we just need to see how that goes. And also no guests yet for the Sunday brunch, so we're not ready for that yet. That's a big time for us here and not at this point. Also, guests may use the wellness center. That's a big deal too, to be
Yeah.
able to come in and do that.
You're not limited on guests there, so if you want to bring the whole clan out and have you all go on
Go
a
for the walking
treadmill or
track
whatever,
and, yep,
have
whichever.
fun. Have fun at it. So.
And I believe Whitney's team has also put out some rules related to the use of equipment in there and also the game room. So please help us maintain those. And also make sure to check the gym calendar for the open times if you want to bring family members in there. Because we do have a lot of things that are scheduled in there, but we do also have open gym times that folks can come in. Also, a golf course will be opened up to the public starting on August 2nd, so that's good too. Getting back to how we used to be.
Yep, that's right.
Also, the fundraiser for the meal packaging events. So that's our silent auction, barbecue lunch and bake sale. We do that all that's at the live auction part. The online one starts August 18th and runs through August 24th. That's where you'll be able to preview a lot of the items on our site, which we will give out to you all. We haven't put that site out there yet, but that will be August 18th through the 24th. The live auction where you get to come into the multipurpose room and see the items that are still left, that's on August 26th. That's a Thursday.
Lisa, we want to say thank you to Kathy Hoyt and Sharon Burke, for
yep.
helping us with that auction. Putting that stuff on the auction website is a big production.
Yeah, it's a big production.
They work very hard to do that for us.
So we've been taking donations, and we still are in a position where we can accept more. So if you have things that you think would be good for the silent auction, let us know and bring those to the front desk. This one's going to be a little bit different this year, a little bit smaller in some way. The live auction piece where you can bid throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, we do our countdown and everybody has to stop bidding. It's kind of an exciting little game. That is going to be a little bit smaller this time. We're going to actually have a section here where you can buy it now kind of thing, so you don't have to bid all day. So we kind of satisfy both sides, because some people don't like to have to come through all day and check out their bids and all that. You might just want to buy the item and go with it right then and there. So we're going to have a good mix this year of both.
And you know, the specialty item this year is going to be, and I think it's going to be wildly popular, is the water that Ken's going to change to wine. That's going to be on a special auction block area. And
It's a special bottle.
yeah, that's going to be great.
Yes.
Oh.
Can't wait.
But that's going to be a good thing coming up here. And then September, we have our annual golf appeal tournament. So it's nice to be able to bring that back because we couldn't do that last year.
That's right.
So that's September 10th. We do have, once again, last year we couldn't do a staff appreciation picnic that we do for our team out at Triad Park. So we're going to be able to bring that back again this year. Day of Learning, another thing we couldn't do last year.
Right.
Where we get our staff together over a 3-day period and do a lot of educational piece. But the biggest thing we do is building that team river landing. We do really good in each of our departments building up our teams. We don't have as much time to build the whole. So this is a day, well, actually 3 days that we do, and we repeat it. We break up our teams into the 3 days and focus on team building and just team river landing. And going back to having, it's hard to find, it's a challenge right now, finding workforce. Yeah. All these kind of things that we do really help with that. It's just another benefit. Our team really looks forward to these days of learning. And lastly, for September, we have the meal packaging events, which are on a Friday and Saturday, September 24th and 25th. So that will be our biggie. That's where we do 150,000 meals between the 2 days.
That's right. We were been talking about whether or not we do them in the actual wellness gym or here, and I think we decided we're still going to try and keep it here in multipurpose.
I think so. Yep.
We'll see how that goes.
Right.
Some of it may depend upon what's going on with the balcony renovation.
Right.
So we might have to play with that a little
that's true. October, we have remembrance services that Ken will be hosting. Maybe you can talk a little bit about that, Ken.
Yeah, we had 62 folk who died during the shutdown who could not have a memorial service that residents were invited to.
Right.
And so we're going to try to find a way to sort of make up for that because
Sure.
it's important to be able to say goodbye.
To remember our friends. Yep, yep,
That'll be really good.
it would. In October, we also have the PHI Olympics. We have another resident update meeting. We also have the annual transitions meeting. That's where Cindy and her team talk about just transitioning throughout the community, how that looks and how that works. Good educational session. The Fall Golf Classic, Fall Festival, that's usually around Halloween time, and that's a resident and staff joint social. And in our list of calendar events that we published earlier this year, we did say we were going to try to do a car show in the fall.
Yeah.
But we have decided to postpone that, of course, due to the balcony renovation out back. It's just not the right timing to be able to have that. So hopefully spring.
Second Saturday in May. We're going to go
So,
back to that. and
that's
we're
the
gonna-
plan.
We should be able to start next
Yep.
year and be able to keep that rocking.
It'd be great to get back to the car show.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
We've missed too many.
Yeah, and a lot of our new residents have never even experienced the
No,
car show.
you're right.
It's
Yep.
a lot of fun.
Yep. November, Veteran Day programs, we're even hoping HPU will have their event again that we like to participate and sponsor, help sponsor. Reverse raffle fundraiser, we're hoping somebody from your family will come again, Ken. Not sure if we can convince somebody, but we're going to try.
If he's not in jail, I think he
Okay,
might, yeah.
okay. So you can start thinking now of who that might be.
Okay.
And our annual shopping day, and a lot of new folks wouldn't know what that is either, but we have a day in the multipurpose room here where we invite different vendors to bring homemade items or other items, and it's just a fun shopping day. So hopefully that will happen this year. And December, of course, we have lots of great parties and all the fun stuff. But one thing I do want to point out is you all do so well taking care of our employees at Christmas time.
Yeah.
So Lois Edwards last year headed up the EAF, the Employee Appreciation Fund, and she raised the most money ever.
Yes, she did.
Pretty tremendous. So because of that, she was voted to do it again. That's what happens when you do so well.
You know, it was the staff that voted too, wasn't it?
The funny thing is, she was actually very excited about
She
doing it.
was, she was. She has a
God bless
passion
her.
for that and
Yeah,
did
she does.
really so good at it. But that's what happens when you do so well. You get voted again to do it. So thank you to Lois for leading that charge. Okay, any other updates, Tom, that you can think of? I
It's
know we
almost-
put a lot into this show.
It's almost 4
Yes,
o'clock. Let's,
yeah.
I think we've updated them enough. I'm trying to see how many still are awake at this point. Fortunately, I think they're all still awake, so.
Oh, okay, just a couple reminders, and we don't have any major questions today, so let me just, reminders. Let's see, Overlook Restaurant is still collecting favorite recipes. The recipe chosen each month will be featured as a special the last week of each month, so that's a pretty neat idea that they have going on. Summer concert series, they have been a big hit. Thank you to one of our couples for donating money that's actually been helping support this series. The goal of the series was to highlight the Teesside Room. Unfortunately, we have found out, or fortunately, we have found out that it's more popular than the space in the Teesside Room.
yes.
So we have transitioned that down to the multipurpose room. So if you signed up for that on Saturday, it's in the multipurpose room this week. And Homer has to get a plug in here. He's not here right now, but don't forget the speed limit, 18 miles per hour. He would not be doing his job if he didn't do that. Okay, just one good question that we had from folks. Should our guests wear masks if they are unvaccinated? So we're going to see more guests out here, so that was a good question. Unvaccinated people, they should be wearing it. We're going to say strongly encouraged to wear it, so. Especially with the variant, that's probably just a good rule of thumb there. You should have it on. Okay.
Ken, do you have anything you want to share today?
Is it
at 4
trivia
o'clock?
time? Should,
We have a question.
yes.
Ah,
Oh, okay.
September 7th.
so we've been reminded that September 7th is the
Is a
fashion show.
fashion show.
Thank you
Yes,
for telling us
yes.
that.
I've not received my invitation for that yet. I don't know why.
There's a reason for that.
See, this is why it's good to have a live audience. So we get participation that way.
Well, my things can save until next time.
Okay. How about, let's say the trivia question again,
yes.
and I'm going to have you give the answer.
Oh, boy.
Because I looked at it, and it looks hard to say.
Okay. So the Genesee River runs through New York, and it runs through a place called Letchwood State Park. And there are 600-foot cliffs in that park where the river has cut over the millennia, and that's called the Grand Canyon of the East.
Now, did you name that, or did somebody else actually?
No,
name
it's in the part of their little promotion stuff.
Okay,
It says that,
all right.
yeah.
I wasn't sure if this was
Okay.
a private thing.
Somebody who hadn't been to the real Grand Canyon called it the Grand Canyon of the East.
There you go.
But 600 feet is still pretty impressive.
Sure,
Yeah, it is.
absolutely.
That's cool.
And good white, some good white water spots. It was
Okay.
nice. Yeah.
Did you get
And-
scared?
Yes.
Did you?
Really?
No?
No.
Oh, okay. And did we get it on the first caller, Michelle? Okay, first caller got it, so
Nice.
that's good.
And they win Redwood Vineyards Cabernet Sauvignon 2016.
Okay,
A nice pre-COVID.
Yes.
there you go. And the winners are Howie and Mary Kay Zeifel.
There you go.
So congratulations.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, Lisa, do we have anything else that we need to share today? It's been an hour and I don't want to
Yeah,
keep
I think
anybody
we're
more than we
good.
have to.
Yes.
So, we shared a lot of information today. As always, if you have questions about anything that we shared today or suggestions, you know how to find any of the three of us for that matter. So please feel free to do that. We love you all very much. We love that you all have chosen River Landing as your family, and we just appreciate the opportunity to serve you here at River Landing, and just appreciate being here. And it's been neat for me. I've been almost 19 years for me here, and it's been really fun and neat to see the personality of the community just kind of change and grow over time. And when we had the new residents come in from the Caldwell Village and Aberdeen and Turnberry, the culture changed a little bit again. And so we got that many residents moving in at once, you can't help but have that happen.
Right.
And so it's been neat to see that kind of transpire and how that worked out. It reminds me back in the old days when we started moving residents into River Landing, and then we had that flux of people move over from the Presbyterian Home of High Point.
Right.
And then it just changes the flavor of the community a
does,
little
yeah.
bit. And so we had that happen again,
Yep.
and it's been neat. And I love the fact that the residents that have been here previously reaching out to new residents reaching out to residents that have been here. It's been good.
Yep. Seeing
And
more of
now that
that
we're-
mix.
Especially now that we're kind of safely can do that now
Right,
outside
right,
of COVID.
right.
It's been really great
Yep.
to see that.
It was hard to do that for a while.
Yeah, it was.
So,
Really
yep,
hard. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, we're going to sign off. Thank you all. We're going to be back on in 2 weeks?
Couple
When is it?
weeks.
Couple weeks. We'll be back on in 2 weeks. So, like I said, if you have any questions or need anything, please let us know. But we love you. We hope you have a great afternoon. Thanks for watching.